So are men and women equal in the spiritual sense, but not in the material sense?
In the spiritual sense, every living being is equal. The spirit soul is beyond the bodily concept. But as long as you're living in the world where there's so many bodily conceptions that people are perceiving life through, then we have to protect ourselves so that our spiritual sanctity can be preserved. On a physical level, certain ways women are superior, certain ways men are superior. It's like this baby. Shamadasi has a baby. Now when the baby wants milk, and Rishikesh is holding it, what's he going to do? Right? He's inferior. He's useless. He's totally useless. But she's superior because she can give the child what it wants. But if someone comes to attack the child, Rishikesh is superior. We are not for men or for women. We are for the purity of everyone. We are for the purification and sanctity of everybody. You see, the propaganda is to put people in a position where they can preserve their sanctity. They consider that that is chauvinism or something like that. But no. It's actually love. The saintly persons teach the doctrine given by God out of love, out of true respect. I remember one time they were asking Srila Prabhupada why women don't have complete freedom to do anything they want. Of course, men don't either. Prabhupada was explaining that to protect a woman is a sign of loving the woman. He said, actually, only in a spiritual society is there real respect for the integrity of a woman. In material life, there isn't any true respect for the integrity of a woman. Because they're seeing the woman as an object of sense gratification. Whereas in spiritual circles, they're seeing a woman as a spirit soul in a particular body that deserves every right to go back to Godhead. That's real respect. A saintly person sees every woman except his wife as a mother. That is the highest respect. In the material consciousness, you see every woman except your mother as your wife. Or potentially, right? Of course, that's the extreme, but that extreme is very common today. Yes.
In the verses we were reading, we read this morning also, yesterday morning, we read that there's very much restriction on man and female associating, especially for brahmacharis, grihastas, and sannyasis. Now, those, like a man or woman is married, should he or she also not associate freely with other married men or women of the opposite sex?
Not for sense gratification. You should do both. You should preach and chant Hare Krishna. Without chanting Hare Krishna, your preaching will have very little potency. It's the duty of the sannyasi, by his example, or her example, by example and by words, to give guidance to the rest of the society. And it's the duty of the society to humble themselves and accept the able guidance of those in the renounced order, providing that guidance is based on scripture and example. Without such spiritual figureheads within our society who are living examples of the truth, there's practically no possibility of the grihasta ashram progressing properly. It's like in India recently, there was a feeling amongst certain devotees that people do not take seriously renounced monks in robes, sadhus. What they want to see is men of action. That the best preachers should be the grihastas, and they should wear suits and ties, and they should preach like that, and they should be professional persons. And renunciation should be, the renounced order should be discouraged. So we were explaining that the Varnashram system is, yes, the majority of the population will be grihastas, who have professions, occupations, and who are preaching and who are living a perfect example. But unless there's the renounced order of life, that people in the renounced order that they can look up to, they're constantly reminding them and checking them, the grihasta ashram turns into the grihamedi ashram. Without the influence of sannyasis, it's impossible to be a grihasta. You become a grihamedi. Practically impossible. If you read in the scripture, all of the great grihastas, they all humble themselves to those in the renounced order. Can you think of one example otherwise? Try to think of one. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was the perfect grihasta, but by his own example, he was always humbling himself before those in the renounced order. Gorkashore Das Babaji, Jagannath Das Babaji, Maharaj Yudhisthira, Dasarat Maharaj, great powerful king, perfect grihasta, perfect devotee. When Vishwamitra Muni came to his house, simply because of his renunciation, simply because he was a sannyasi, he got off his throne and worshipped the king and offered his services to him with great humility. So this Varnashram system is essential, that there has to be a renounced class of men who are giving a very high standard to influence the grihastas. And then, yes, they can be in a position where they are very powerful in the service of the Lord.
You were listening to Radhanath Swami on devotionalnectar.com.